What's up, guys? Kasey here, and we have my good friend Nikkhil. We're
What's up, guys?
in Sky Deck, Dallas right now. We're going to be reviewing Ajmal Blu. This is a sample that I received from Maxaroma, actually. And we're going to be trying this fragrance out, discussing kind of the house of Ajmal, as well as, Arabic perfumes, and Nikhil's background is Nepali, so he's going to give us an insight on how these scents reflect anything that kind of brings back any memories from, his life or whatnot.
Maybe good memories, maybe some traumatic experiences.
Hopefully no
Yeah.
traumatic experiences.
I've had a couple, man.
So we're going to try this out right now.
On the wrist.
Yeah, we're going to do it apply it on the
Oh, and
wrist.
as a disclaimer, I know nothing about fragrances, so this is going to be very much a stranger's experience.
It's
right?
it's
So,
good. Yeah,
third
absolutely.
party.
This is how we want the kind of experience to be.
So now, is it a good idea to rub it?
No, never.
Okay.
You never want to rub fragrance. Maybe you want to dab it onto your neck, just on the side of your neck.
Yeah.
Just like a single dab, just so that the molecules don't break down. Because a lot of people, they go like this,
Yeah.
and what happens is that it breaks down the molecules of the fragrance.
Yeah. So I've always been in the habit of spraying it, sort of rubbing it in.
Right. Everybody seems to do that for
Yeah.
some reason, but that's definitely not the right process
Yeah.
to do.
But
The opening is very nice. So the fragrance is supposed to have notes of bergamot, watermelon, and some floral hints. I think it's lavender that it's on the top notes, and it's supposed to develop into like a more floral fragrance with some lotus, and then the entire body of the fragrance, base notes wise, is sandalwood, musk, amber, and I think another note. There was supposed to be another note. I couldn't smell it. The other note. I smelled it has like the woody kind of slight woody notes, and I can smell some of the musk and amber mix.
that's exactly what I was going to
Yeah,
mention.
but I can't smell any other base notes. So if there was any other base notes I missed, then I couldn't smell them as well. But overall, I'm a fan of the fragrance, the floral woodiness. I don't know, what's your take on this fragrance?
Yeah, so initial sort of thoughts, it smells very fresh, but at the same time, you can sort of smell that muskiness in the background. I still would categorize this more as like a summer fragrance,
Right.
even though it is a little bit musky. I think it's more musky when you smell it from 5-10 feet away, right? Like from
Right.
It's very musky, right?
Yeah.
But then if I go in close,
Like close up, it
it's
smells
very-
a little fresh,
it's still,
right?
Yeah, it's very floral, like
Right.
you described it. But it's pretty interesting. I was telling you earlier, I've never been exposed to any Arab fragrances or
Right.
any fragrances from the UAE, and so it's very unique. It doesn't really have any connections to sort of Nepali cultural smells at all. No hints of sort of the natural indigenous flowers we have or anything like that.
Or any spices or anything like
not
that.
so much, but it smells phenomenal. I mean, I like it a lot.
Right, it's a nice smell. It's like usually like the Arabic fragrances can be polarizing, just because they can be strong, too strong, or very oud focused,
Yeah.
or spice oriental focused. They call them orientals, where they have a lot of spices involved. And this one is very balanced. I feel like it has that woody note. It
Yep.
has some floral, some it has bergamot in the top note with watermelon, and so it has this nice fruit mix as well. And I think it's a very, very easy fragrance to pull off in terms of just like a day-to-day summer, spring fragrance. Wonderful.
Now, would you recommend this fragrance in more of a nighttime setting? Maybe like going on a date, or maybe hanging out with friends, going out to the bars, or is this something where you just spray a couple before you go out to like the groceries? Or
Right.
You just
right.
want to smell.
Oh,
good
that's
for
a
the
good
day?
question. Like settings-wise, I would say this is probably best for. Actually, from the smell, I feel like it's kind of a all-arounder. Right? It's casual for sure.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah, I
casual
agree.
for sure. So I wouldn't say that it would be maybe specifically best for a date, but it depends on the date.
Yeah.
If you're
that's true
going to
too.
a fine dining establishment, you want maybe something a little richer, a little more sophisticated in terms of notes and breakdown of the fragrance. But in terms of what the fragrance is, and this is an eau de parfum, so it should last a longer than eau de toilette, EDT. So
what's the difference between the two? Is it
EDT has less perfume content,
okay?
right? So it's gonna be more fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
The fragrance is gonna last less longer. It breaks down quicker, and eau de parfum lasts longer. So it's gonna break down less quick,
Mm-hmm.
and it just develops slower
Mm-hmm.
in a more paced out way.
So is there a certain type of cologne that you would recommend for the day and night in terms of parfum versus toilette? Like, is there a go-to maybe for the nighttime you want it to last, or maybe you don't? Is there something you would recommend?
So usually I would say like you want maybe eau de toilette for daytime if you're going to the office, like school, somewhere that you don't want to be too overwhelming and you have a lot of people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And then eau de parfum where you're in a more intimate setting, or say you're at the bar, you know, a lot of people are coming and going, a lot of scents come around. Doesn't really matter, you know, it's kind of hectic. And so in that setting, you would probably not care, or you'd like to have like a stronger fragrance just to have kind of a signature to show for yourself. You know, if you're going, out with friends, you want to have some kind of signature. If you're going on a date, you also want to have some kind of signature,
Mm-hmm.
so that the other person, you know, has a memory of that.
Mm-hmm.
Where that's one of the most important things I would say of fragrance is to associate memory.
Mm-hmm.
So that would definitely be eau de parfum would be something important to have
Mm-hmm.
in mind for that.
Yeah. And so, have you seen any sort of trends in Arab colognes, whereas maybe you see sort of a similar type of smell, or have you not seen anything?
No, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. You usually, like I said, they usually do a lot of wood and oriental notes.
Mhm.
So like oud is a very big thing
Yep.
in Arabic colognes and fragrances. And with Ajmal, they're pretty flexible in the fragrances that they make. One of them is Mystery, Ajmal Mystery, that they has grown some recognition
Mm-hmm.
in the fragrance community, and it's been, a lot of people have appreciated the smell,
Mhm.
and it's not the typical kind of Arabic fragrance that they usually tend to release.
Mm-hmm.
And Blue is another example of that. That is a little different from what the Arabic fragrance houses release.
Mhm.
Blue is a little different in terms of how it's like a little fresh, floral, but it still has some woody notes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Another one would be that is more typically geared towards like Arabic customers or clientele in terms of like no breakdown would be like Aristocrat.
Mm-hmm.
Ajmal Aristocrat is more of that Arabic DNA kind of way. But I think Ajmal Blu is a great example of how a lot of these fragrance houses are being more flexible. They're being a little open-minded in terms of what notes to include in fragrances, and they're trying very aggressively to enter different markets now. So another fragrance house would be like Amouage, that became very popular, that is from Oman. Ajmal is, I think, one of Al Haramain is another one, and I think Ajmal are two of the Arabic fragrance houses that are very aggressive in terms of entering different markets. And so you'll see with this like Blue, it's very easy. It's a very easy fragrance. You've never heard of this. You've never heard of Ajmal.
Not before today. Yep.
Right? So you've never. I hadn't heard from Ajmal before I got involved in fragrances, and now that I know, it's a very affordable fragrance and smells very clean. So far it still smells very nice.
I don't even need to smell my hand.
Right.
I mean, I can,
right. It's still in the area.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Right. It still smells very good, and it's very. I think it's very easy.
Yep.
Some fragrances are kind of hard to adjust to or appreciate, but I think Ajmal Blu definitely is a very easy fragrance to pull off.
Yeah.
The only thing is, even though it's an eau de parfum, I'm wondering how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
Because we talked about the projection so far. We still smell it in the area, so it projects pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the fragrance itself, it's an eau de parfum. The notes that we discussed were, floral, fresh notes,
Mhm.
but also with
Background of musk.
musk and wood.
Yeah.
And the only main topic that's going to be on our minds so far is going to be longevity, just because we won't be able to experiment until later on in the day. However, overall, I think it's going to last at least maybe 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours, maybe even break the 7 to 8 hour barrier.
Mm-hmm.
But just because it's an eau de parfum, but we'll have to see. We're in Texas right now, and the heat usually allows the fragrance to develop pretty quick. And so since this is a fresh fragrance, I think we'll be able to enjoy that part as well.
And so, I guess for the viewers at home, is there any other fragrance you can sort of relate this smell to, so they can get a reference of what it may smell like?
I feel like I've smelled a Burberry fragrance that reminded me of this. I'm not sure if it was Brit or another one. I think it was the one with felt. I completely blanked on the name, but it has a felt bottling on it, and it's I completely forgot the name. But once I remember, I'll definitely put it into the video description on what this kind of reminds me of, because it has that fresh notes, the floral notes as well, but also that woody and musk background that mixes all together. I think it definitely reminds me of one of those Burberry fragrances that I'm thinking about.
Yep. And as someone who's not into fragrances and sort of like a third party reviewing this, I would say that I haven't smelled very many colognes that has that sort of mix between that floral smell and that musky smell. Usually it's too fresh, too summery,
right,
where you can't wear it at night. But I feel
that's a very good point.
I feel like I could wear this at night and get away with it. I feel like I would be able to get a lot of compliments just because of the way it projects too, right?
Right.
So I think
and it's an easy fragrance.
Yeah.
You know, it's not too overwhelming for people that maybe aren't familiar with these kind of notes or fragrances. So thank you for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like the kind of video content that we had today, make sure to let us know in the comment section below. Thank you.
See you, everybody.